On today's episode of Talking Town Ball, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it. The 2025 season has concluded, and we are raising the banners. On today's show, we've got Class A, B, and C champion representatives here on the pod to talk. From Miesville, we've got Deryk Marks. From the Pierz Lakers, we've got Nate Janson. And from the Delano Athletics, we've got Adam Jaunich with a little Ryan Hayes mixed in. So why don't you just grab yourself a Miller Lite, a room temperature Miller Lite. We're going to shotgun that beer. And hey, grab a fridge cigarette while you're there. It's time to talk town ball.
Welcome back, folks, to a season finale, I think we might be calling it.
I think we're going to call it that.
Episode of Talking Town Ball. It is Monday, September 22nd. We know that you guys are just itching to talk about the Vikings game with the Bengals last night. We're not going to do it.
We're not going to touch it.
We're just not going to do it.
We're not going to touch it.
One, we don't know the score because we're recording prior to this. Two, I don't even care, man.
Two backup quarterbacks. I'm sure it was a great game. Let's leave it at that.
We will leave it at that. Let's talk town ball.
Man, we're like my intro. I mentioned, we're here. We've made it. We've wrapped it up, and it was a tournament to remember. I think for a lot of people, there obviously there's only 3 teams that end the year with a win, and it's kind of fun this year to have a little tie to it. You know, Ryan, you're across the table here, and you come home with a trophy at the end of the big one. So fun to track all year. I kind of want to talk about each one of our little experiences through the state tournament. We'll kind of go, we all had kind of our own unique story or journey through the tournament, and ours aren't as exciting as Hayes's, but probably I can start because it was maybe the least climactic. We did make state. The Blues were able to crack into state, and we played a really good Waterville team in that first round in the Class C tournament, and we ended up coming up on the short end 2-1 in 11 innings, a solid squad there. But fun to be able to make the tournament, to kind of go through that process. It's our 2 years in a row we've been able to get there, and the boys are enjoying it. They're always it's just crazy. It's it really motivates everybody around. I mean, the players and anyone tied to the program. It was just a really fun experience. We're gonna try to keep digging further next year. Hopefully we can get back. That's the goal, and it's winning games at the state tournament is not an easy thing to do. And
no.
Jordan, you were a part of a Howard Lake Orphans team. You were drafted by them with their 2nd overall pick.
Yeah. So, like you said, so you've been to back-to-back years at the state tournament after not going for a while.
It was like 22 years, maybe.
22 years. Hey,
yeah.
That's a good streak to break. And
good streak to break, for sure.
Made it back-to-back years, and I'm sure you and the rest of the Blues are already, just itching, ready to go.
Yeah.
That's for us in DC and Dassel Cokato, that's how we feel right now, itching, just ready to go. We've been improved the past few years, and we've gotten closer and closer, and I personally feel like we're right at the door,
right,
knocking, trying to get in.
Yeah.
Unfortunately we didn't, but I did get drafted by the Howard Lake Orphans. Got to play 3 state tournament games with them. Fun group of guys. Some of those guys I've known for a long time, just playing against them, year after year, and you get to know them. And they've got some younger guys on the team that I didn't know quite as well that I've now made friends with. And like I said, just a super fun group to hang out with. And yeah, they made a really fun run to the final weekend.
It was a fun run. I will say, I know like North Star League baseball, Class C. I think Howard Lake during the year they were just so tough to deal with. The top end of their lineup, their top 5-6 guys were just absolute dogs, and it didn't really surprise me that they were going as far as they did. I think the pitching side of the thing, of the equation, it was like they're going to have guys step up, and Jared Cook stepped up. I mean, what did he end up with, like a sub 1.5 ERA or something like that?
Yeah, he was ERA in the low ones for the state tournament. He pitched started 3 games, had around I want to say 19 innings pitched, made the all-tournament team, just nails out there on the mound. Like, he was lights out, really a veteran leader for that team. And I know it's cliche to say, but pitching and defense, it wins games. Well, that's how they made the run to the final weekend. Jared was lights out on the mound, and their defense was just making plays.
There was a hit, and you played Brownton in the first round, and I remember you came in. It was a tough inning. I think you came in with the bases loaded, I want to say. And the second guy you faced put a ball in left field, and I was thinking, this ball is going to score 2 or 3 runs.
Oh, yeah.
The way that thing was going to land.
With 1 out and the bases loaded in the, this was the 8th.
7th or 8th inning.
First guy I strike out, so we get a big out there because now there's a force anywhere. We've got 2 outs. Just got to get this last guy out somehow.
Yep.
And a guy kind of flares one over third in front of left fielder. And our left fielder makes a incredible diving catch to save kind of a bloop single that, you're right, would have scored 2 runs and potentially tied that game up. So
who's playing left field for
Macheski?
I mean, he was
one of the 2.
Yeah, of course. There's 2 brothers on the team
so
there.
Mason would catch and Cole was out and left.
Macheski. So it was fun to watch. Once again, we've talked about it a couple times. You'll hear it throughout, but defense is kind of that underlying side of the games that you don't hear about as much, but boy, it impacted every game.
It's the dirty work that you have to do to win baseball games, especially in a state tournament. And that segued right into the second game. We've got to play the Wyndham Pirates, and they're tough. Like, they won a ton of games.
One of our favorites going into the tournament.
Yeah, you
faced them.
Yeah. So again, Jared Cook starts on the mound, and he is just he's doing what he does in a big game and just getting guys out. And they've got 2 good pitchers that had kind of thrown for them all year, and they're also pitching very well all game. Scratch a few runs. I end up coming into an eerily similar situation with 1 out in the 8th. And I throw 1 pitch and get a comeback or double play to get out of it. So you do that. I was pretty fired up about it. The guys were pretty fired up, and then went out there and shut it down in the 9th. So beating a team like Wyndham, I think, Howard Lake, and they should be, they were pretty excited about it because that was a pretty formidable opponent. Yeah,
a big W there for sure. We talk about defense. You end up running into the Pierz Lakers, and we do have an interview with Nate Janson here eventually, and we talk about their shortstop who was just playing out of his mind defensively, and do you kind of take a little bit of just I don't know if you want to say there's some positives to say, like, well, we ran into the champion team. And
I mean, I think if you ask the Howard Lake guys, and they're kind of a hungry young bunch, they, maybe a little bit of that, but I think it's more so like, but it was close, like it could have gone our way had, we make one more play or get a hit here or get this guy out or whatever it is.
It's crazy to think about, and I'm going to go all the way back to regions. This is like, what if? This is all this what if stuff. Like, things can change drastically by what happens at any point. I watched a game it was an opening region game. We hosted in Litchfield, and Howard Lake was playing Pearl Lake.
Yep.
And we didn't really know how to, like, what do we expect out of Pearl Lake? We don't really know.
Yeah, we hadn't. Well, I mean, I know for us personally, for DC, we hadn't played them.
Right.
So you don't really know what to expect other than a little bit of hearsay, like,
Right.
oh, they've got so-and-so
Yep.
that pitches.
So Howard Lake goes into this game and all the way back in regions, okay, all the way back into the first round, and Howard Lake finds themselves down 2-0 in the ninth inning.
Yep.
With, I don't know, 1 or 2 outs. It came down to a clutch base hit in the ninth to tie the game, to force extras, to finally and then eventually win the game in extras for them to go into that winner side of the bracket. Mm-hmm. I mean, imagine just like, it's just crazy to think about how much their run could have been changed by that game early on. I mean, it's really to...
And, butterfly effect type of deal, like if that's the case and Pearl Lake hangs on to the lead there and wins, then you also don't get Pearl Lake's wild ninth inning comeback where they score, where they score a million.
I mean, we talk about a Miesville finish too, and our interviews coming up, we're going to keep teasing all of our interviews, but of course, that championship game, the state championship game, having an ending like it did, probably trumps that Pearl Lake Cokato game, but I've never seen a game end like that.
It was crazy.
It's the craziness of baseball, the way that some of these games ended. Just never ceases to amaze.
Right. And that's kind of, for you and I, John, that's kind of our experience. But we got to remember that he himself, he is.
Oh my gosh.
He is in the building with us.
Yeah,
he's him. So he's Ryan Hayes. He did some stuff during the state tournament.
Ryan Hayes in the house. He just actually left the Legion. You've been there for 2 weeks
2-3
straight.
weeks.
You just smell like fridge cigarettes and just old stale beer at this point. Mm-hmm. But no, it's good to have you here, Ryan. Thanks for sparing some time to be with us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Long time contributor.
Long time caller, many time caller, first time podcast sit down with us. No?
I mean, kind of going around the table talking about what happened. It's the last 2 weeks, I knew we were going to get together. I have no word. I have no real words. I've looked up synonyms for this and that, and it's just nothing really, makes a lot of sense. But when I did get back to the Legion after we won, I had 98 text messages.
Jeez.
And some that really stuck out. And then I actually saw Ryan Grams from Brownton in Delano the other day randomly. I guess he was going to Davestown Club. He was there working. But anyway, I texted him. I'm like, did I just see you? And he's like, yeah. And he said, hey, congrats, by the way. And I said to him, you guys did a great job. And I said, the feeling that I have is one I wish upon anybody and everybody, especially those who I've put as much, into town ball as somebody like Ryan has. And when he's probably 39 years old and, grinding out down there in Brownton, probably fighting with Glencoe and some other, cities for ball players. And they do a great job with that field, and they've had a pretty good team, and he usually bulldogs 9 for them. And, the effort he's put in. One of the other text messages was Herb Cook. And Herb Cook's the president of North Star League. And I'm 37 years old, and Herb has probably been doing town ball for, not twice that, but probably at least 50 plus years.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I think about like a guy like Herb and how much he's put into it, and his family and the sacrifices that he's made and that his family's made. And I mean, they have lived at Arnold Clares Field there in Loretto, and he hasn't, won one. And it's just like, I wish you could win one, Herb. And I wish there's just so many others out there that is just like these last couple of weeks. It's nothing's really changed in my life. I mean, my daughters had orientation the very next day for school.
The world is still turning.
And that's what's kind of cool about it though, too, is, winning the state championship or not has nothing to do with success or failure. I took a couple of days off. I had actually taken them off ahead of time because the girls had school stuff. It wasn't like, oh, we won, I'm not going to work tomorrow. I did text my boss like, hey, I took, I took today off, but I'm going to be like that. Hey, not coming in today. See the picture of the trophy. He played along. So it was fun. Playing baseball in Minnesota at the fields that we get to play at and against the competition and the people and the family and the friends that we make, that's success in itself. That being said, again, I wish that upon everybody, that final out, that running out and celebrating. And, Steve Island, our manager's in tears. And I thought if that ever happened to me, I'd be in tears. And I wasn't. I was like just beyond excited. It was nuts. And, we'll take my kids out of the equation. It was just probably number one. And number one, I'll never forget. I'm a big baseball movie guy because, of course, and it's the James Earl Jones speech in Field of Dreams. It's we lost Robert Redford the other day, the natural, and I tweeted out, what his manager says to him: "You're better than anybody I ever had, and you're the best goddamn hitter I saw. Suit up." It's the, back to James Earl Jones at the end of The Sandlot, and I tear up, and he just says, I used to crowd the plate to make the strike zone almost disappear because that's the way I played 100% all the time. And the baseball is life. And it isn't life, but it's been a big part of my life and in our lives, and it's why we're friends. Mm-hmm. And right. The great thing about winning is I go to our old head basketball coach at Delano, Terry Teckham, and he won a state championship for Delano in 2018. And then in 2019, for the A's, we went 19-1, ran through the North Star League. We lost our first game, and then we won 19 in a row. In the last 5 games, we 10-runned everybody, and then we went 0-2 out in Hutchinson in the regions. And I remember talking to Teckham, and he just is like, he didn't sugarcoat. He's just like, there's just going to be losses, Ryan. You're never going to get over. And that was one of them. And this kind of makes it go away. Mm-hmm. But that one made me prepared for 2025. Like, to say that I didn't enjoy it was a lie because I did. But I was so laser focused every single pitch. Every game there was a plan. There was, you're going in the middle of an inning. You will be going in at the start of an inning. You will this, and this. I mean, we keep it pretty clean on this podcast, which I like. We don't need to swear. Mm-hmm. But Labor Day weekend, I just told some of the guys, go warm up. You got to go warm up. And, first inning of the state championship game, I sent Jeff Foshing out there. And then I went out and talked to him, like, we'll see if we can get another one out of Nick. And I'm like, this is going to be a dry hump day. And he goes, dude, this is, and the same thing when we were playing against YA and Jake Nelson threw all 9. I sent, Espo, our drafty down there. I sent Brewitt down there, and just was like, this is what it's going to be. And they're like, that's fine. I'll be ready to go. And, the aftermath of it all, going to the Legion and talking to a guy like Marcus Reaver's wife, and they have 3 kids, 4 and under. And he was didn't know if he was going to make like any games, and he made it. And he made it work once, especially we hit July. And I just thanked his wife. And I'm like, thank you for making this work. We could not do this without Marcus. Right. He actually played the semis and championship game basically with one wrist. He texted me the morning of the YA game, and he's like, I just wanted you to know I'm in a lot of pain in my right wrist. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm playing, but I'm like, all right. He was actually 7 for 11 going into the YA game, and I think he had 1 hit the last 2, but it was just, he played great at second. Mm-hmm. He might have been our tournament MVP if he was healthy. So, and she's just like, well, I had to make this work. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. Why? She goes, this is like one of his dreams. Uh-huh. Yeah. And, talking to Trevor Jaunich, and, his dad coaching first base for us, and his dad won a state championship when he was 33. Trevor's 33. They were both all-tournament team. Just stuff like that. We had Ethan Engelman his dad, Eric, won a state title with Plato and then with Green Isle as a draftee. Toby Hansen and Jack Paulson's dad won a state championship with St. Michael back in 97. And then obviously Trevor's dad winning a state championship as well. So just kind of seeing them in the stands and then getting the job done was just it's undescribable. So and we're going to have Adam on later here, but and we did already do that interview. So with Adam Jaunich, so I know what to hit on and what, to touch on a little bit. There was many times this year I was like, I don't know if we're going to get to the second weekend of districts because it's just not clicking right now. It's just not clicking. It's just not meshing. It's just not working. We're too young. We got a lot of young guys, and that's great, but we need them all to gel at the right time. And we had the weird setup where it was pool play. So 3 teams in one pool, and I go, knowing our luck, all 3 in our pool are going to go 1-1. We'll be the odd one out, and we'll be home. And we went 1-1, but fortunately, Watertown 2-0, Carver 0-2, so we made it to that next weekend. And then, just the Watertown game to go to state. Trevor has to leave after the first inning. Marcus Reaver's son is in a wedding, so he's not there. We had another Drew Dorsey's Wee Fest.
Oh, no.
Yeah. No. I mean, so that game was pushed back about an hour and a half because of some rain early on in Watertown. And so I'm kind of telling the guys, I'm like, hey, just don't get too ready too early. We're 5 minutes from Watertown, so we're fine. But James Otto shows up, and he's like, I thought you said it was like 2 hours behind, and it ended up being about like an hour and a half. So he shows up as we're doing intros. No batting practice, doesn't play catch, doesn't take any ground balls. Second inning, Jack Paulson's like, I'll take over short for Trev. I'm like, all right. James go to third, and he's just like, oh, okay. First ball hit to him, I think he fell over. This is not our day. Just it ain't gonna happen. And I'm just like, oh. And it does. We're 2-2 late in that game too. Nick Hayes pitches box in a run to tie it at 2. Toby hits a solo home run because that's what he does, solo home runs.
He's kind of a one-trick
pony. DH hits a solo home run to put us up 3-2. We get a big hit late in the game. Ethan Engelman was huge off the bench for us late in the season, and we scored a couple more and we got in. And I'm just going into districts though. I was just like, okay, we gotta be believers. We gotta be believers. We gotta be believers. And Trevor Jaunich really stepped up, just kind of almost, mentor-like to some of the young guys and just talking them through everything and staying positive because sometimes I'm the bad guy dad. It's just like, hey, we can't be stupid all the time. We can't just swing at bad pitches because we want to get our swings in. We need to be smart baseball players and make the right play. So watching that cowboy thing on Netflix, I had to be the Jimmy Johnson, and he was, the Troy Aikman. Like, hey, just you're fine. Just he's gonna be hard on you, and I'm gonna pump you up a little bit. And, and he just did a fantastic job, and I a little bit of sports psychology. I talked to the team before we went in that second weekend of districts, and I'm like, guys, something's gonna happen. And it's going to change the trajectory of the season. Because in pool play, we lost to Watertown, but I started seeing signs. I'm like, okay, there's something there. We just got to win one more. We got to win one more. and we did. And I'm like, the collective parts of this team, the team's energy is bigger and better than its collective parts. And I know it because we have everything there. Just something has to bring it all together. And so we get in, almost make another come from behind win against Plato to get the 2 seed. And then the draft comes. And Jackson Hunter from Watertown had the lowest ERA in the Crow River Valley League. So I'm like, he's going to go 1. Maybe we'll get this guy. Maybe we'll get that guy. We'll see. Well, he lands to us at 3. And so I'm kind of looking back at it now like that was the moment it changed. But Jackson is a very confident, very cocky young man.
Sure.
And we had practice Tuesday, Thursday before our first state tournament game against Northfield. And he goes, I'll be there Thursday. And I'm like, sounds good. So I get all the guys together. And we have a lot of 20-year-olds on our team. And what I found is 20-year-olds, and I was like this too, they're very emotional.
Yeah.
And when there's chirping back and forth, and Jackson pitched against us twice, and there's back and forth, when you're in your 30s, that goes away when the final out's usually made. Usually. It doesn't when you're 20.
No.
And so I just said, here's the deal. We grabbed this kid from Watertown. He's got a lot of fire and a lot of juice. And I said, so when you walk out of the dugout, you're going to make your mind up about it because he's throwing for us against Northfield. And there's no discussion about it. And you're going to love him. And the guys are like, okay. And he goes out that first inning, and third base coach for Northfield said something about a pitch, and he starts chirping back, and I go, oh, my God. What have we done? And Toby's just like, that's him. And I go, I know, but I have – okay. And I told Jackson, pitch your game. Do your thing out there. Don't just be you. Just be you. Don't worry about it. And we win 2-1. And Cheek Steve Island always said, first one's the toughest to get. Boys, get that first one. Get the first one. It's the toughest to get. And it was. Everything's so magnified. We left guys on base, and it was just whatever. We got the win, and then knew we were going to get Hinckley the next week, and it was kind of like the guys got used to Jackson. I'm like, okay, he can carry the torch a little bit until everybody starts to figure it out and gets comfortable. And then we have practice the next week, and then I'm leaving, and I see Jackson and Ream and a bunch of guys out in the parking lot that are, 19, 20. I'm like, our other draftee, Connor Esposito, West Tonka kid, he's only 20. And they're all hanging out. And I'm like, okay, this might be the key right here. We might have something. And we come out and get a run right away against Hinckley. They're top 2 hitters, 1-2 hitters. I know one's at Mankato. The brother might also be there. They're from Esco. I guess Esco just produces dogs. First pitch he sees, boom, ties the game 1-1. I'm like, oh, man. All right. But didn't phase Jackson at all. He just kind of kept doing his thing, and, we scored some runs and got the win. And then the next Friday went to the Bird Island Hutch game, and Hutch wins it on a walk-off. I think it was in extra innings, and I remember before I left, I just text Toby. So it was before we played Hinckley, and I just texted him. I said, I want Hutch. So it better happen tomorrow. And we did. And, with the Hutch situation, and we've been in that spot before where, they didn't give them that Friday night game against us, but there was a game Friday, so how late were their guys there? I know, talking to Cutter, who's a great friend of mine, he goes, I told the guys after the 5th inning doing the field, go home, get out of here. He goes, whether they listened or not, I don't know.
Right.
So I think that's where we had the advantage. Like, we were in bed at night, 9, 10, hopefully 9, 10 o'clock. And, we're playing an 11 o'clock game, and, we just came out and started hitting. And then, we took care of them 11-0. You kind of like, you don't want to be disrespectful, but you kind of do want to pour it on. Like, 10 run them, and then I don't have to use another pitcher.
Oh,
Right.
huge.
Yeah, exactly.
And, and Jackson, you just don't know with that type of kid. Does he like, maybe I'll come back in a day or two. We'll see what happens. So, and I've been waiting 5 years to start Jake Nelson fresh in a state tournament game. And we had another shot at Young America. And that was just like, that might have been I feel 22, 23 sometimes just because town ball makes me feel young. That one aged me 10 years at least, that YA game. It was just so, it just gets emotional, and it gets a little chirpy and chippy. They're in your league. They're 3-0 against you. But, Jake started playing with us in 2020 or 2021, and I have been waiting 5 years for that day. Going back to being prepared and being ready for every game, and maybe not enjoying it like I should have, Like, nope, finally, we're going to get it today. And the rest is history on that one. He threw 9, but the same thing. I'm sending dudes down to the bullpen in the 4th and the 5th and the 6th. Just be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready. I can't let this one out of our grasp. So, and then, you move to the championship game, and you're just like, this is really happening. And we're going to go Nick Hayes. He starts. We had him throw 1 inning against Hinckley, so he'd at least thrown a little bit the week before. And it was tough. He thought he was getting squeezed. He likes to nibble, and you can't do that against Nisswa. Nisswa's too good hitters. They're too smart. They're too savvy. They're veterans. They're not chasing your 0-0-1-0 stuff that's an inch or two off the plate. Just not. And I just, went on, hey, let's get ahead. Try to get ahead. He's like, I'm getting squeezed. I said, I can see it, but let's just keep working. And I think Cheeks was very surprised when 3rd inning, first guy got in. I'm like, Foshing's ready to go. And he's just like, I go, put Foshing in. We this is the championship.
Yep.
It's 2-1. So Fosh comes in, and again, kind of the same thing. I have been waiting all year to have the veteran guy who's pitched in big games just go in there and get us out of the jam and just get us through those middle innings. And he actually had a Toradol shot the week before districts, so we didn't even get to use him in districts. And then he's like, I'm about 65% for the first weekend. And he's about 75% for the second week. I'm like, well, maybe we can keep getting away with it and not using them. And I'm like, well, what are you at today? And he goes, it doesn't matter. And just pitch me till I suck.
Yep.
And so we were able to get out of it, and then went to Cade Brewitt. And those first 8 innings were probably 8 days long. The last 3 outs maybe were 8 seconds, and then it's just it.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. And so again, I wish everybody that feeling. And I talking to guys about the future. Oh, we're gonna repeat. And I'm like, guys, if we don't go to the state tournament next year, it's still a successful season because we got to play ball. If we go to state and go lose, or we go to the final 8 or anything, it's all good. And we start 0-0 anyway. And you have a target on your back. And the last thing I'm going to say, and I think this is going to be really long podcast. Sorry.
That's fine.
Just kind of the thank yous, and obviously you thank your fans, and the fan base, it grows and grows and grows. A huge crowds over in Watertown. Pretty easy when you so close, but you getting texts on Sunday night like, hey, we're leaving the cabin, we'll see you tomorrow, good luck. And you're like, that's pretty sweet. And,
that's cool.
And Nisswa, we played them in 2022. They were the perfect team to play, not because we won, but it was just baseball. And town team baseball is the way baseball was intended. It is the most purest form of baseball there is out there. I'll die on that hill. And they won a state title in 2022, so it wasn't like, oh, they needed it. But at the same, there's just such a respect level that I had for them before the game. It's times by 1,000,000. Like, they were just, you won. Shake your hand, good job. They are all standing in the dugout when we're getting our plaques, clapping. There was no chirping back and forth, no chippiness, no BS, none of it. It was just, we're just playing baseball today. And our fans are kind of riding. Nate DeShaney was playing first base, and I kind of yipped over at our fans. I'm like, hey, cheer for our guys. Enough. We're not doing this. And he kind of looks over at me and just kind of smiles, and I'm like, oh, he was kind of giving it back to him. He was he was enjoying it. he was kind of eating it up. I'm like, oh, thank God. That's a monster you don't want to have unleashed on you.
Yeah.
Number one, people in the stands. Let's not get that guy fired up.
Right. Those people in the stands don't have to pitch to him.
No,
next to
he's aiming for the river, and he could hit it there easily. So it was like, but he was like, no, he's just kind of laughing about it. He was joking back. I'm like, oh, thank God. So it just was, the tip of the cap and all that cliche to them. But I'm glad we played them, and there was just no nothing but baseball.
Yeah.
So I they're going to have a special place in my heart in all of this too. Mm-hmm. And we'll touch on, Brownton. We played one game there and then the rest at Hutch. And I know Dick Gaylor did a nice job in Glencoe as well. And just the Hutch people and the Brownton people were so good to us, so nice to us, so kind, courteous to us. Even after we did knock Hutch out, they were just like, okay, well, Delano, you might as well win it now. We're fans of yours. And it was amazing. Kyle and Anita Mesner, standing ovation to them because I think they're the ones that really made this happen. For sure. I hope we can, talk to Kyle here. He's going to go in the Hall of Fame in a few weeks, or maybe it's this weekend. And just kind of lastly, and I'm the one on this show that picks on the state board probably the most.
Oh God.
And I did talk to some of them during the tournament, and I'm kind of like, they're like, oh, you could do the podcast from here and here, and I'm like, yeah, but we're not live, guys. It's just going to be a recording, and then you listen to it 3 days later, and I was picking on Nagel and Kushner, and I'm just like, we can get Nagel on, but I'm not going to be easy on him. And they're like, oh, we know, and I'm like, hey, it probably doesn't work if all three of us are just playing in the shallow end of the pool,
glazing these guys.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It makes for good discussion. They have their opinions, and we have ours, and they're all well thought out. Nothing's just out of thin air. But I do want to thank them because without them, this precious game doesn't happen. And so, no, I'm not ever really against you guys, but it, makes for content. So I got to pick on you a little bit.
I mean, we can't agree with everything.
No. And nothing, and again, and we're in this age where you got to have the good discussions about it, and none of them are afraid to either. That's what's nice about all of this. And, going to 3 classes, I think it worked out very well, and I'm sure there's tweaks they're looking at, and everybody's going to say there should be other tweaks, but it worked out nice, and actually the every site dealt with a pile of rain. I think on that first weekend, and they were able to start most of the games right on time. So, just thank yous all around, and yeah, that's all I have. I know that was long.
Yeah, no, that was great.
I think you hit it, especially in your thank yous at the end there. The sites, the people that made it all come together, the state board members and what they do. We're looking at the past 3 years, and I know we've gone through like class changes and all of that, but I think over the past 3 years we've had a combined somewhere between 85,000 fans at the state tournament. That's nuts. It's just, we're grown men playing a kid's game, and to get, 85,000 or whatever it is to come watch and enjoy it, it's special. It really is. And I again, congrats to you, Ryan, and the A's. It was fun I know it was really fun for John and I.
Yeah.
Especially being there during that championship game. We're like,
well, here's the thing.
Our friend's really going to do this. This is awesome.
Even though we have our connection, the level of pressure and the level of whatever you were feeling in the dugout, we weren't feeling that. No. And when we got out to right field and everyone was kind of celebrating underneath the scoreboard, I remember I turned to Jordan and I'm like, we're probably feeling 1/100th of what these people are feeling right now. Like, right. We were excited. Yeah. We were happy.
We were very happy for our friends.
Well, yeah, we have a lot.
And super excited about it. And yeah, like you said,
and
John,
I'm just
it's
I can't imagine
we're 1/100th of how they feel right now.
I look at
this is
our one guest, Adam. I remember I looked at him and the smile on his face was just kind of funny. It was just, it was almost like, how could you not smile by looking at a guy like that during that time? I mean, it was just fun to be a part of.
Yeah.
It's just, we go back. The state sites did a great job. Everything ran smoothly as far as I'm aware of. We're just happy to have had a little part in it this year. I know that was the cool part about this whole experience. It's like we could have had a podcast any other year, but to have this sort of connection to a team that made it as far as you guys did and to win the championship. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, that is just really, really cool. I don't have much else to say as far as the tournament goes. It was just a great time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we can kind of transition here. Ryan, again, congrats. We're going to talk to Adam as well, another athletic, and he'll be able to give, his perspective on the championship as well. But the first guest that we have, first interview we have today is actually from the Miesville Mudhens, the Class A champions. We've got Deryk Marks.
Yeah, let's hop into that interview with Deryk, and we'll talk a little bit after each interview, but we'll be right back. And here's our interview with Deryk Marks.
And we are here with our first guest on today's episode of Talkin' Town Ball, 2016 state tournament MVP, now part of the 9-time NBA champion Miesville Mudhens, Deryk Marks. Deryk, how's it going?
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Well, we'll just kind of we'll give some background info for our relationship, you and I, just to the listeners out there, all 12 of them. We kind of got to know each other through a mutual friend. I was best buddies with a guy in high school, and then you ended up being teammates with him at Augustana. He probably doesn't want us to say his name. He'd probably be nervous about that, so I won't. And then our college careers didn't quite overlap because I transferred to Crookston while you were at Augustana, or a year after you had graduated from Augustana. So lucky for me, I didn't have to face you. So did you played how many years at Augustana? Did you play all 4, or was it just the 2?
Just 2. I started out at Iowa Central Community College for the first 2 years, and then transferred into Augustana after that.
Nice. And then did you play for Miesville during the summers while you were in college, or did you start after? Or I guess give us a little bit of background on that.
Yeah, so my town ball history is back in my high school days. I actually played for the Eastside Merchants, the St. Paul League, because my high school coach was the manager coach of that team. So I played there for a couple of years before college, through my college career, and then to Northwoods. And then after college, I actually played for the Hastings Hawks for 4 years, from 11 through 14. And then at 15, I moved over to Miesville.
Nice. And then your brother played for Hastings for a while too, didn't he, Jared?
Yeah, Jared, my brother, he played up at Midgey State also for his college career. He played at Hastings for a couple of years, and then moved over to Wisconsin.
I will very quickly brag. My one and only collegiate home run is off of your brother, Jared. So please let him know that I still remember it, because as a guy that doesn't hit a ton of home runs, you got to cherish them. So
I'll be sure to let him know. I'm sure he'll be glad to hear it.
Yeah. Well, we'll just kind of jump into Miesville's season. I noticed something kind of interesting about your record. So you guys did you have 25 wins, or do you know what you ended with?
I honestly don't know what we ended with, but we were 12-0 at one point, and then we went like 6-6, and then we didn't lose again after that, I believe, or something weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So you guys started, somewhere between like 10 and 12 straight wins to like start the year, and then you ended the season with 10 straight wins. So a couple really fun runs, I would assume. Did you have some like growing pains in the middle of the year where, you kind of got hot and then cooled off and then got hot again? Or I guess give us a little background on that.
Yeah, I guess beginning of the year, everybody was there ready to go. And then kind of once July hit, end of June, early July, apparently we had availability issues. Our pitchers weren't showing up or weren't available all the time. And then we had guys playing out of position. So defense and pitching were the main causes for that, which was not a recipe to win games. So we were putting up 3-4 errors and not get the best outings on the mound, which will account for losses when you're playing quality teams. So
yeah, for sure.
That was kind of what happened there. So, I mean, we knew our bats were around, but we couldn't always out hit everybody either. So,
right.
Yeah, I always get the try to load up our schedule. This is Ryan Hayes from Delano too, Deryk. So I just want to say hi to you. But I always put the schedule together, and I always feel like I load up July. Like, hey, let's get hot here in July, and that is the time of the year when everybody does decide to take their vacation. So it sounds like
Right.
that it's not just exclusive to Delano. It happens in Miesville as well.
100%. Yeah, I mean, once that lull came for us, we went like 3-7 or whatever. I mean, you thought though the world was going to end with the rankings, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, they got people pitching that never pitched before," and like, yeah, it happens here too. Like tough times, but yeah, we got through it.
But yeah, like Ryan said, and what you're alluding to, I think it's pretty common. You get around that July 4th time, people go, on their break or take their vacation or whatever, and maybe they don't come back right away. But you got everybody back when it did matter, that last 10 games in that stretch. So
Yes.
we can jump into, I guess, your road to the title. This is the 9th championship in Miesville history now. Is that correct?
Yes, that sounds correct. Yes, we're still trailing Cold Spring, I believe, by a couple.
Well, you got time.
Are you? I thought they had 8, or am I wrong? Because I thought Minnetonka's 1. I thought you guys would be 2 now.
I think Cold Spring might have 9. We might have 8.
Okay,
And Minnetonka
okay.
has all of their A titles or whatever that gaudy
Yeah.
number is. But yeah,
Okay.
Well, the important question is, how many do you have? Is this like
I
your
have 4.
4? God, it must be nice.
16, 17, and then we ran into the Chan Redbirds Assassins there for 4 years.
Oh,
Got
man.
runners up a couple times, and now we're back. So
Chan had a run during those years. They were tough, so don't hang your head on getting beat by those guys. They were tough.
yeah,
2016, like I said, when we opened here, you were the MVP. We were we were hosts, John and I, that season anyway, in
Yep.
2016. So you got to play a couple games at both our parks. I guess before we get into the 2025, anything that stands out about that 2016 MVP, or do you not want to brag too much?
I mean, honestly, we never got to play in Dassel that year. We played at Litchfield a couple times in Hutchinson, but never got on the nice field of Dassel till a couple years later. So good thing you guys host every couple years, so we get to get some games out there.
Yeah. Well, it was awesome to see you kind of just ball out in 2016 and help the team to a title. And was that your first one then, or?
That was the first title, yes.
Oh, okay, got it.
Second season with the Mud Hens, the first year in 2015. We had a wacky draw with the state board. We had a 5:00 Thursday game up in Watkins. So
Wow,
that didn't go the greatest. Yeah.
I bet they probably took some of that into account moving forward after that year. I would think.
Yeah, they got an earful. So yeah, want it or not, but yeah.
Well, that's how the state tournament used to be with 2 sites. You'd have
Right.
two Thursday night games, 2 Friday night games.
Ugly.
And I guess they took that and added a third, fourth site now, so they did take that into consideration. So
I think we're definitely better off now with more field availability and options. So you don't have to travel hours on a Thursday.
right.
But we'll jump into this year's state tournament, and we'll kind of just go game by game here, so you can give us from your perspective on each game. You open with Waconia, the Lakers. They just got bumped up actually from Class C, and you got to face the former Class C MVP. So it's a tough task facing him on the mound, and he was able to strike some guys out, but you touched him up for like 5 runs. So what kind of contributed to that? What was your guys' game plan going into that first game?
Yeah, I mean, looking at the bracket when it first came out, it's like, great, we get Tonka or Waconia, which Waconia has the lefty ace, Bezicek. We all know who he is, and then Tonka's got their pedigree. So we didn't think we got the greatest draw out of the gate. But, yeah, we knew we had our lefties. We have 7 lefties in our lineup, so that wasn't our best matchup. But we put some at-bats together, and we were able to grind him out, and he definitely got worn down, it looked like. I mean, he definitely still got his strikeout, but we didn't take 3-pitch Ks. We were making him throw some pitches. And we're able to get a couple solo bombs off him in the second inning and start the momentum and just kind of hang on.
Yeah, and like you said, everybody knows him and he's a good pitcher, but you got a good performance out of 3 different guys to combine for a shutout. What was kind of their plan going into the game, aside from, don't give up runs?
Yeah, I mean, we don't really have the bona fide ace as some other teams do. We got a bunch of guys that throw strikes and hit spots. So Ritzer got the start in that game. And he went as far as he could. we benefited getting out of some jams with bases loaded, 2 outs, and getting some key outs, and just not booting the ball around in the field, make them beat us and hit gaps, and they were not able to do that.
Yeah.
So our guys just threw strikes for the most part.
Well, that's where that defense, like we talked about earlier, comes into play, where maybe you were kicking it around in the middle of the year. If you can play good defense, especially during tournament time, you should be able to make a run. So
Right.
you knock off Waconia, and then you face Forest Lake, the Brewers. You beat them 4-2. They can swing it a little bit from everything I've heard, but you got another really good start out of your starting pitcher, and he went the whole game. So give us a little bit of info on that.
Yeah, Trevor wasn't available weekend 1, and then he was around for weekend 2, so he got to start against them. Made one bad pitch, gave up a 2-run bomb in the 4th or 5th inning, so we were behind already there. That's the start of the comeback tour, I guess you could call it. And then in the 5th or 6th, we've got a couple guys on, played some small ball, put the pressure on them, and they booted the ball around. So we made them get us out, and we got 3 unearned runs and held on from there.
Nice.
Their pitcher did a good job. He's a Crookston guy, too. Like, he held us in check compared to the other guys, so he did his part, too.
Yeah. So 2 big wins to open up, and now you got to face Minneapolis or Lions Pub, whatever they want to call themselves now, the Warriors. I always get confused on what they're technically now, but we'll go with Minneapolis Warriors because that's what it said on the bracket.
Yep, Lions Pub no longer supporting them, apparently. So.
Oh, gotcha. Well, we might have to dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So this game, you guys win 9-8. It's kind of a slugfest, and you benefit from some more home runs in this game. And this is your chance now to talk your smack because you did a lot of cool things in this one. So why don't you just let us have it here?
Yeah. So I guess. I think I was DH in this game. I didn't get to start at first because we had other guys get healthy. So we go down 8-1, and they're riding high. We put up a 4 spot, so it gets 8-5. And then the next inning, we get another solo bomb, 8-6. Next inning, 8-7. Bottom of the 8th rolls around. Coach goes, "Hey, you got an inning in you today?" I go, "Yeah, sure, give me the ball." So then bottom of the 8th comes around, I hit a leadoff bomb. So tie the game at 8-8. Riding high, go right down to the bullpen, get loose. Adrenaline's pumping,
Oh, yeah.
And then we end up going to the top of the 10th. We get out of there. They get a leadoff double. And he goes, "Okay, you're going in." So then I enter the game in the top of the 10th. I've maybe thrown 3 innings all year for the Mud Hens. I get the chance from the Lions Pub Warriors on the side to go, "Come on, groupers," because I also play on a 35-plus team. So they're
Gotcha.
giving me crap for being old, obviously. So first batter proceeds to lay a bunt down. I field it, spin, and throw him to third and get the tag out at third. I don't think anybody's expecting that. And then the old shortstop 10 years ago coming out there. But, proceed to get out of the inning. And then, I guess I got on base in the bottom of the 10th with 2-0 walk. Vandy walks. Get a pinch runner for the old guy, me on second base. Next, I get to single, and we walk him off.
Wow. That's, again, continuing this comeback tour now, 2 games in a row. And then this leads to the championship game against Champlain Park, where I guess the comeback tour was completed. There's a lot to dive into for this one here, but I'll start with this. You started this game on the mound.
That is correct. Yeah. So right after we finished the game against Lions Pub, I was the first one through the handshake line behind Coach Skipper Gam. And I make the comment, "Give me the ball tomorrow." He goes, "Really?" I go, "Yeah, give me the ball." He goes, "Okay."
Perfect.
Probably still riding high. I don't know if it was the best decision, but we got through it.
Well, you're a gamer. You got to do it. You got to
right.
ask for the ball. So you start the game on the mound, and you're probably not sure how it's all going to play out. Obviously, over the course of the next several hours, because this is a wild one.
Yep.
So the game starts. You get up early. Joey Werner hits a bomb. He's always dangerous. It may or may not be the only bomb he hit in this game. We'll get to that later. But then the Low Gators come right back and score 6 in the second. So right away they kind of jump out to that. I mean, you guys take the lead, they get it right back and then some. What's kind of going through your mind, or what's kind of the vibe in the Mud Hen dugout after that?
Yeah, so after that sixth spot, I honestly was surprised nobody came and talked to me or took the ball from me in the first place. But got out of there like, you feel good. I go, yeah, let me go back out there, and if somebody gets on, you can pull me. So like, and then turned out that was a good decision because I put up four more zeros after that to keep the game in check. So the game was 6-3, I think, in the fifth, and it pretty much stayed there the rest of the way. We had multiple guys on base, just come up with those clutch hits during the middle part of the game, so it stayed at 6-3.
So it's 6-3. Both pitchers are kind of cruising at this point. You get to the eighth, and then you guys load the bases up. They work out of the jam, and in doing so, potentially maybe lit a fire underneath you guys a little bit. Do you wanna get into that?
Yeah, so basically their pitcher got out of a big jam. I don't know if he thought it was the ninth inning game was over. He just couldn't control himself. But he fielded the ball at first, or first baseman touched first. He turns around. I watched it right from the dugout. His head was down. He just picks his glove and just chucks it back to his dugout, like all the way across the field.
Okay, they're on the third base side.
The third base dugout, across the entire field. It almost hits our coach and runner, which it wasn't his intention at all, but you can't be chucking your glove 100 feet across the infield.
Right.
There's some etiquette.
So then the tensions really get flaring because they were already heated, a lot of chirping going on between our two teams the last couple of years in the state tournament.
Yep.
So that really gets everybody going. Convene, and they end up tossing the guy out. I don't think he had any intention to pitch in the ninth anyway. They were going to Palmer regardless, but
it
just started some fuel there as well, and got the voices louder in each dugout for the ninth.
Gotcha. Yeah. So if you, to the listeners out there, if you haven't, Ryan Simonson, Rhino, also known as Town Ball Tuesday, he did a really good write up on this, kind of explaining it too. But yeah, maybe not an intentional throwing a glove at someone, but also like, hey, maybe cool it. You don't need to give the Mud Hens another reason to try to come back here, I guess, especially after how the last two games have gone. But they go get three more in the ninth. So it's like 9. Is it 9-3 then heading into the bottom?
Yeah.
Of the
So
ninth?
they load the base with 2 outs, and they get a bleeder to center and get 3 runs. So they were riding real high. A lot of gator chomps going on, and they were cloud 9.
So you're down 6 then. Heading into the bottom of the ninth, it's your last chance. As we know, you can't count out the Mud Hens. So break down that bottom of the ninth for us and give us, I guess, from your perspective, how you went from down 9-3 to eventually ending the game in your favor.
Yeah, I got everything remembered. My photographic memory here, play-by-play for that ninth.
Yeah.
We got the guy we won up, Joey Warner, middle of the order, 3-hitter. Palmer proceeds to walk him in 5 pitches, not even close to the zone. And they got their guy, Trent Palmer, fresh out of AA ball on the mound. So they think they got this.
Beast.
And then Sweeney gets a single, so it's first and second. And then they walk our next guy, Evan Nelson, on 4 pitches, not even close. So it's bases loaded, nobody out.
Lights were pretty bright.
Lights were very bright. It really get tight. Big game.
Yep.
And then Brock Reinhardt comes up. And this is probably the key to the inning, that the ball did not go over the fence. It stayed in the park and kept the guys on base. So he hits a ball a foot off the top of the fence.
We talk about this all the time.
Bombs are rally killers.
Home runs
It
are
could be a rally
killers.
killer, yeah.
There's something to it. I don't know. But it just kept the guys on base and kept the pressure on them. So then yours truly comes up and strikes out on 3 pitches. Trent Palmer is able to find the strike zone.
Perfect.
One of the 3 righties in the lineup just aims the sliders at my backside and it goes over the plate, so I look real foolish. But and then Lucas is able to get a hit, and then we pinch hit Vandy, who wasn't in the lineup for the championship game. A lefty.
A great veteran guy to have on your bench. Another former MVP. That's a great guy that you can have pinch hit there.
Yeah. So he comes in and Palmer proceeds to walk him on 4 pitches. So his day is done. And they come back to their Saturday starter, Hutchinson.
Okay.
Because we have so many lefties, so they went to their other lefty, who's been one of their main guys the last couple of years. And he proceeds to get our leadoff hitter out, Hendrickson, the infield pop-up. So we're still down 2 with first and third. and Vujovic comes up and has a great 2-out at bat and gets a single to the right side. So then we're down 1 with first and third and 2 outs with Joey Warner at the plate. And we were kind of on the ump all inning about Hutchinson not pausing on the mound.
Okay.
But before we even got to the set position, first base umpire calls a balk. So he balked in the game-winning tying run from third base.
Oh,
Before the first pitch to Joey's at bat, he balked in the game-tying run.
Unbelievable.
So now you're in a position where the game's tied. You've got guys on. It's kind of playing with house money now. Like you're already going into extras no matter what. Might as well try to win it. And then how did you win it?
Correct. So, I mean, I think that took all the pressure off Joey, and he can just relax and try and barrel the ball up because it's a tie game. Worst case scenario, we got another inning to go. And let's just say we see the ball really well that game. And fourth pitch, 2-1 fastball, and he did not miss it.
Nope.
I think the bat went higher than the ball itself, but
Yep.
it was a no-doubter. Like, so, yeah. Took our time around. Didn't take our time around the bases, but all did the Gator chomps at home plate, and that was that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, no love lost there. Two teams that have, gone at it in recent years in the state tournament, and what a way to end the title game. All is said and done there. You guys go through the handshake line. I'm sure nothing was said in the handshake line. I would guarantee everything was civil. I don't know, maybe. But
well, actually, their player manager missed the end of the line, which Joey happened to be at the back, so that kind of started some kerfuffles there.
Okay.
Like I thought he was avoiding him on purpose, but apparently he wasn't. Just thought the line was over and turned away early. But yeah, so that was what that was about.
There's never a shortage of town ball drama, especially when the tension is as high as it is in a championship game. So similar to the glove toss, I'm sure there was no ill intention there, but people are still
it's all just magnified.
People are still hot. So where's the first stop? Where do you guys go as soon as you're done having your beers at the field?
Yep, so we got our pictures and stuff, and then we all head back to Jack Werf Field, which the fire station is right in the parking lot there.
Okay.
So we get the 3 fire trucks out and the cases of beer, and we take our laps around the big city of Miesville.
Right on.
So 10 minutes later, we're
Hey, no, we went down to the south side, went back up to the north side, and then went back in the middle,
That's
And
for sure a 20-minute parade.
that's okay. I'll give you that. No,
We weren't going too far. It was at least 20 minutes, yeah.
nice.
But then you get the random cars on the road that are stopping, like, what are these guys doing on the fire? Like,
Is there an
down
emergency?
61, what are we doing here?
I'm trying to get down to the casino.
Yeah, get out of the way.
The slots are hot. Get out of the way. We're going through.
So, you end it with the title, and that's how everyone wants to end their season, obviously. Pretty sweet way to do it. I would say, congrats to the Mudhens, congrats to the Low Gators for getting there, and all the teams in between. I know it's early. You guys have only been done for a few weeks. Is the plan to get the band back together and try to run it back, do it again, or are guys hanging it up? What's kind of the plan?
As of right now, the plan's get back together with us 4 old guys that are still in the squad. Just keep going around, keep doing it again. Able to make it less and less during the regular season because of other priorities. But come playoff time, we'll be there, and if we see our name in the lineup, we'll be ready to produce. So I think the plan right now is to run it back again. Because we are hosting, I believe, in 29?
28.
Oh, you got
28.
Yeah, you got to
So,
stick around
3 more
for a
years.
little while then.
See if we can get another title in the next 3 years, yeah.
There you go.
That's cool.
Well, it was awesome to talk to you. We won't keep you any longer. We're gonna. We don't have anything set in stone, but we're gonna try to take Talkin' Town Ball on the road at some point to the Jack, and take this over to Miesville at some point, and maybe grab a burger and a beer at King's or Dan's if you're down.
Yeah, which place do you say is better?
It's hotly contested.
We are proud supporters of Dan's more so recently. So
Knew it.
Hayes is a Dan's guy, and anytime
Dan's and Trophy House is where we stopped at the bars too after the.
we saw the post,
Gotcha.
we saw the
Yes.
pic.
Yes.
Yeah. Anytime Hayes sees a burger on social media,
We are avid Dan's Instagram followers. When we see the special burger, we want to get up and
foodies.
drive now. So.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll meet you there.
Well, right on.
100%. I think we're gonna make a trip next summer, no doubt.
We'll figure out a game, a date. We'll we'll come hang out. But other than that, again, congrats, awesome season. Yeah, we'll talk to you later.
Perfect. Thanks for having me, guys.
Have a great
All right,
summer.
see ya.
See you there. Bye.
Yep.
And that was our interview with Miesville state champion Deryk Marks. And though I think we were all wrong on our predictions,
Those were your predictions. I had the Pierz Lakers going deep the whole way. I was never wrong, actually.
well, I was right about Dan's being the favorite over the
That's
Kings.
true.
okay.
And
All
that
right.
is the one
That's-
prediction that the
that
people
matters.
need
I
to
knew
know.
that was the real official hometown bar of the Miesville Mud Hens. Love the ticker tape parade through town. I can just picture it as
cool.
amazing and good for those guys. That is, I have a cousin who I call Periwinkle. His name's Perry. He goes, me and the wife, we still go down and catch a Miesville Mud Hens game every year. They live in like Corcoran, Rockford area.
Okay.
It's like we just go down there and we go to Kings and
a
then we go
destination.
to Miesville.
You make
Mud
a
Hens.
day out
He
of it.
doesn't know one person on their team.
You don't need to, really.
No.
It's
So-
just a fun time, and Deryk will tell you the Jack's the place to be. It's fun.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can go to Dan's after
So-
and get a wild
We
burger.
are. Let's lock it in. We got to go next year.
Well, I don't think we need to go next year. I think we could just go down this fall and watch college football there.
Oh,
Okay.
God,
I don't know
that
why we
sounds
would. Why
awesome.
would we? We
Why
have
wait?
baseball that gets in the way in the spring, summer. Why don't we just go like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know in October?
Um,
And it's beautiful down there in
Yeah.
October.
Deryk,
true.
pick a college football game you'd like to watch, and we'll meet you at
Invite
Dan's.
us down. We will meet you, and I'm excited to look at that menu. I've seen so many good options on there. I'm excited. It's going to be a good time.
So
Yeah, we covered Miesville in their title. Again, congrats to them and the Low Gators for making that title game. I know that things got intense in that last game, and that's a fun part of town ball.
Yeah.
And we talk about it from time to time. Intense between the lines, and then when the game is done, you hopefully can go have a beer and a burger together at
Yes,
Dan's.
yeah.
But again, congrats to those two teams, and congrats to Miesville for winning the Class A title. And we've got another champion next in our next interview here. We are going to head over to Class C here. We've got an interview with Nate Janson of the Pierz Lakers. He's going to talk to us about their championship run.
all right, we are back here with Nate Janson of the Pierz Lakers, the 2025 Class C champions. Nate, how you doing here a couple weeks after the championship game?
Doing pretty good. It's a long couple of weeks there. Letting it sink in, but doing a good job now.
Yeah. So one of the things that I always look at when you get to the state tournament or even the playoffs, it's like there's those 4 or 5 days between games because you don't play weekday games. Does it feel like the longest weeks ever trying to get to the weekend of your state tournament games?
It does. You're trying to prep. You're trying to get your lineup ready. You're trying to get maybe a little information on the team if you can, and it takes a long time. And once you're there, it goes by so quick.
Right, and you can drive yourself absolutely nuts them 4 or 5 days too. So before we jump into the tournament here, I want to ask you because I was at your game against Howard Lake. Jordan was actually a drafty for them. So you bullies knocked them guys out, which is fine. Totally fine. Totally fine in my mind. But I'm watching the game and I'm seeing some fans walk around and they have LL on their hat. And then I'm down the left field line and there was a ball hit over, foul, left fielder comes over, and I see on the back of the jersey there's an LL. So I was by the state board trailer and I asked some guys, I go, are these the Lastrip Lakers? And they're like, yeah, they moved to Pierz technically a couple of years ago. So it sounded like some issues with the field. Can you just give us a little rundown of when you guys technically moved to become the Pierz Lakers? Because I was kind of like, yeah, that makes sense. I haven't seen Lastrip in a few years, and they being involved in town ball for 30 some years, like they go to the state tournament quite a bit. So
Sure.
You want to give us a rundown of that, Nate?
Yeah, it wasn't so much the field. It was getting getting the concessions ready and everything like that. We talked about moving to Pierz, the field's being maintained by the Legion Park. They do all the food, and we just get portions of it. And it just made sense at the time. Guys were getting burnt out of doing all that kind of thing, and having the field ready, mowing the lawn, doing all that. So that's kind of why the switch happened, and we moved to the Pierz area.
Gotcha. So it wasn't like bad blood or anything like that. It was just a little more of a convenient thing. So
correct.
Okay.
And how close is that proximity wise to Lastrup?
You're looking at about 10 miles, maybe. Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. So the tournament. 3 of the 5 games you had no problem scoring a pile of runs. First one, 2-1 against Mora, and our manager in Delano, Steve Island, he's always said the first one is the hardest to get. What kind of do you recount of the Mora game? With the 2-1 finish, was it just cutthroat the whole game, or did you ever feel like, hey, we got it in hand?
Yeah, it was back and forth. I mean, Mora's a good team. That Graves threw really well. He kept us off balance for most of the game. I mean, they made many, many defensive plays in the outfield that were just, game savers, that diving catches. I think there was 5 that I can think of in the outfield. I mean, we just couldn't get runs, generate runs. We're a team that can bunt the ball and hit the long ball. So, I mean, we do a little bit of both, but Graves was really good. Kept us off balance and pitched well.
And then you move on to face Cortland, which essentially the ranked number 1 the whole year, which, the rankings are cool to have because it gives us all something to talk about and fires people up on Twitter. But, I mean, you rolled through them 9-0. Did you guys score early and often, or was a late surge in that one?
Yeah, no, we scored early. I think we put up 8 in the second or third inning. It seemed to be the theme in the tournament. We had that one big inning where, they made an error and we made it pay for it. And, the guys came out, they were fired up for that game. So, even the ride down there, you could feel the intensity coming. And, the guys were looking forward to playing because, everyone's doubting you at that point, saying Cortland's going to win it all. And we're like, you know what? We're the underdogs now, so we can go in and play loose and just go at them.
Excellent. And then what almost became a fog game out in Hutchinson, I believe that was, Saturday night. You beat Howard Lake 5-2. Your shortstop made about 4 or 5 plays just unbelievable that kept Howard Lake off the scoreboard for most of it. What's his name, and is that pretty typical of him?
Yeah, I mean, Camden's been good all year. Him and Colton, they're twins on the left side of the infield there. They've just been a wall. I mean, they play really well. They never even played college ball. They just have the soft hands and be able to handle things. And, a lot of people came up to me and said after the game that Camden played, that's not Class C ball. That's a whole nother level, which was good on his part. Even our announcer, Rick Graman, that does the broadcasting for the Pierz area, even said he was just, that's the best shortstop he's seen broadcasting in a long time. So hats off to him to play really well. He played well.
Watching him make those plays from the dugout. This is Jordan, by the way. Watching him make those from the Howard Lake dugout, the vibe in there was, we were like, man, that guy, he's smooth and he's making every play. And yeah, he can swing it a little bit too. And one question I did want to ask you, the ball that he hit into the night sky into the left off of me, has it landed yet? Or is it still going?
Yeah, it landed. I mean, he got hot at the right time. They were 8 and 9 hitters the whole tournament, and they both hit over 400 in the tournament. So they caught fire at the right time.
Those are good guys to have leading the charge, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
So, and then you come back Sunday, you got to win 2, you take care of Roseau 17-5, and LeSueur 11-1. So, I mean, pretty much just boat raced a couple of teams. At what point during this tournament, and maybe it was that last weekend, did you just kind of have that feeling like this is going to be our year? We're getting the breaks. Our shortstop's playing the tournament of his life. You just said your 8 and 9 hitters are, wreaking havoc at the plate and on base all the time. Was there a kind of like, hey, we might be holding the trophy up here come Sunday night?
Yeah, I mean, we knew we had the pitching depth to get through. That was never really a worry to ours, and we were watching the games before us and everything like that. And people are burning up pitchers more than we are. So that was really nice to see. I mean, you kind of get a little ease there, but you never like, I think when it really sunk in was that last game when Kroger hit the double to left field and scored 3 runs. That it really like, okay, now we got a chance. Like Carter Petron's throwing well and he's keeping them off balance. There's a chance we got it now.
Excellent. Wanted to just ask you about the format and just your feeling on that, because did you guys play the second semifinal game and then go right into the championship after that, or were you the first semifinal game?
We were the second one.
Okay. So what was kind of your message to the team to kind of reset everything after, you beat Roseau by 12, oh gosh, my math. Yeah, 12 runs. What was just like, hey, just keep going, because, there's usually that 30, 40-minute break, and then there's the pomp and circumstance because it is the championship game. How were you able to get your guys just to reset, knowing that LeSueur was kind of, a tear through the tournament as well?
Yeah, I think I'd rather play the back-to-back game instead of being LeSueur and sitting a whole game. I think those guys would get tight, and I'm like, if we can score early, score often, it might just deflate them completely. And that's exactly what we did. We scored early and, we just kept putting the pressure on us like what we did all tournament, bunting the ball, making them make plays, putting the ball in play. We did everything right. And it was a fun time.
Excellent. So, and I had heard, maybe it was from a state board member. Do you have some second generation guys on your team that, dads were Lastrip Lakers?
Yeah, Preston Rushlow's dad was on the bench. Dan Rushlow. So there's a couple of them there on there. I think that's about Danny Licky and Jamie Licky. They're guys that are on the team. They weren't at the state tournament. They didn't get their games in. They kind of had the VFW and Legion ball to go to. So
yep.
There's a few guys that are second generation. But not a ton.
And is this a Lastrip / Pierz, is this the first state championship?
Yeah. Yep,
okay.
It is.
So we made the. Go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, Nate.
We made the semifinals, I believe, twice in St. Cloud one year, and we did it one other year as the Lastrip Lakers. But as Pierz, I think that's one of the first.
Very nice. And there's 3 teams in Pierz, right?
Yeah. Technically 4. If you count Buckman, the Buckman Billy.
Oh, right. Yeah.
As well.
Yep. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. And you're the king of all of them. But no, that's just
for this year.
For this year. Hey, enjoy it. What was the trip back up to the Pierz area like on Sunday night? Were you able to get into any establishments? I know that one ended probably closer to 9-10 o'clock. What was the aftermath like that night, or did it carry over into Monday?
Oh yeah, we made it back for a couple Fred establishment, and then we went to a shed with all the old Lakers and the new Lakers, and that carried over till probably about 8 a.m. on Monday. So
I love it. That's amazing. Perfect. You had the day off. So where does the trophy sit then?
The trophy is actually at Mitch Whitala's house. Someone, we had it at Mitch's. We left it in the shed, so he went and grabbed it. So.
Okay. Are you guys doing like traveling trophy? Everybody gets it for a week, or
we're not really sure. Yeah,
okay.
we got the bar maybe thinking about the sponsor and handing it over there and letting her put it up. So
okay. Well, very, very good. Cool. I think John.
Yeah,
had some questions. Here
of course, I'm gonna derail Hayes here, but I want to say we had a little, all this season and preseason we did a little bit of prognosticating, and we had Hayes made his picks for Class C before the season, and those were picks just to make state. Okay, so we were talking about all the regions. We get to 9C. Hayes, what team do you think he left off his state qualifiers?
Did I pick the 2 other Pierz teams and Buckman and not the
No,
Lakers?
No. Well, Buckman went to B, but no, I want to say, and we're gonna have to go back and look at this, but there was no Pierz Lakers to even make the state tournament in Hayes' eyes. I think the Lastrop stuff really messed with Hayes. We had some Twitter followers immediately respond, though, and say,
yeah, we did.
No, I think I've got the Pierz Lakers because of whatever. They had, obviously, you had some dudes this year, and flew under our radar.
I did do a bad job of, usually I'm try to be somewhat of the historian, and I just didn't put it together that it was the Lastrup group. Otherwise, I'd have picked you to win it, obviously.
Of course.
Well, the good news is, Nate, you proved us wrong. You did it.
Heck yeah. And what does it look like for next year? I mean, you got a pretty young group, or do you have some veterans on the squad?
Yeah, I mean, we got a younger group. I mean, kind of good mix. A lot of the Petrons, Shimoleski, Noah Sokola, they all graduated from SMSU this year. So I mean, they'll be 1 year out, so that'll be a little different. They won't throw as many innings right away, But I mean, we got a lot of guys that pitch the ball right now. So, trying to find a tournament to get in or get some guys some work would be the next step of getting everyone ready.
Detroit Lakes is a fun tournament. Just throwing it out there.
Just tossing it out there. Absolutely. Well, good stuff. It's been great talking to you. I mean, Hayes, Jordan, you guys have anything else you want to ask the champion here, the Class C champ?
I would just say congrats. I know that it can be grueling to try to get through, a tournament, especially the state tournament. But yeah, you guys, you played your butts off and you did it. So congrats.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Take care. Enjoy it. Yeah. Find a spot for that trophy, photo ops. And keep it rolling in 2026. Maybe I'll pick Pierz to win it all. I think I am. I'm going to pick Pierz.
You almost have to.
Yeah, I have to.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. All right, Nate. You enjoy the rest of your night and have a good fall and winter.
That sounds good. Thank you, guys.
All right. We'll see ya.
That was our interview with Nate Janson of the Pierz Lakers. Congrats again to the Lakers on the C title. Just a really quick personal experience for me. Playing those guys, you could tell that was a championship caliber team. They hit the ball when they needed to. They got great outings from their pitchers. Just a good squad. So that's, again, congrats to them.
Victory League baseball.
Yeah.
And what they do, they just win.
They just win games.
Just win, baby. No, it was fun to track. I think Pierz through like halfway to maybe towards the end of the regular season, I was doing some of the rankings online and said, yeah, we've got to start respecting this team because they're a cut above. They were playing really well, and to come out of that region that didn't always get a ton of respect, by some people. Maybe have to make sure that they continue to bring out the bids. I think they had 4. Did they have 4 bids come out of the victory?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, we'll have to double check
4.
that. They had 4.
Nothing I said, if you go back and listen, nothing I said was
damage control.
No, nothing I said was a knock on them. I said it the way they use the criteria to make those decisions.
Yep.
Made me scratch my bald head.
Yes, and that's
fair.
Different. That's fair.
That's fair.
We can live with that. So, to have a champion out of the Victory League, obviously they're represented well.
But I think that's what's really great about what happened with Class C is we didn't know we thought, Cortland, and they got thwacked by Pierz.
Yep.
And then there's a couple other teams that were maybe favorites that were second weekend exits, and when you don't have buys, anything can really happen. You're not guaranteed going to week 2,
right?
Weekend 2, but we're gonna get some more knowledge about them every year that we go down this road of having 3 classes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, and I was never a opponent of the 3 classes, but yes, it'll be interesting to see though how the regions start to shift their bids,
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be fun.
It is going to be fun.
I don't know, maybe I'm just ever the optimist here, but I look forward to the future of the NBA and of town ball, and I think it went well this year, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this too. I think just because we're talking about bids and, what it could turn into and, the North Star League, just speaking to what I know, there could be 3 to 4 teams that come back and play in our region next year. Like,
Yep.
we're looking at Class B teams this year that were kind of on that fringe that might, come back to see.
Yeah.
Well, I know for sure there's 2 or 3, but that's going to change a lot. And how is that going to affect? Are we going to get another bid? Are we going to, how is that all going to play out? So, I mean, if you're thinking that the content dries up, it will not.
So what you're saying is this might not be it for 2025.
Well, let's see.
We'll
I don't know.
see.
Like, when does that gavel land when they make all those decisions?
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't envy the people who have the job of deciding that stuff. But we'll definitely give an outlet for people to
No,
be
there's
upset about
there's
it.
going to be things to talk about, and I'm sure we'll be around to provide at least some talking points when that that day comes. All right, we're through our Pierz Lakers interview with Nate Janson. We're now moving on to Adam Jaunich, a listener of ours. He's been a
listener, I would
follower.
say. Ryan, do you know the guy?
Do you know Adam?
I've heard the last name doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it Jaunich, Jaunich?
Yes.
It's a soft J.
Jaunich.
Jaunich.
I just
No.
yeah,
Adam is a
marathon runner.
he's a marathon runner. First and foremost, he's a marathon runner.
He is.
He does, but he also he runs the socials for Delano, and he's on that roster for the Athletics.
He's a long time,
Did Adam get a little PT this year, a little playing time?
So years ago he was he was a runner, and he was doing a lot of marathons, and then he just kind of took a break and he got back into it. So the kind of was the joke, like, because he actually didn't play with us last year, took a year off. So the joke is like, you wake up on a Saturday mornings and for some ungodly reason you run like 15 miles. When, in the Crow River Valley League, we have courtesy for the catcher. So when the catcher gets on, why don't you go to first and run 90 feet to second?
Yeah.
I didn't bring my spikes. And then it's like, oh, here's so-and-so's spikes. And he would
man, that's awesome.
So, yes, he got some games in this year.
I'm surprised he didn't give you that's a sprint, not a marathon.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. No, that's pretty good. We're excited to have Adam on here, and he'll give us some good insight into the Delano run and their championship win in the state tournament. So, without further ado, here is Adam Jaunich. And we are back. We've got our final interview of the show, of the season, of the series. What do we say? Season 1.
Season 1.
Season 1 is concluding.
That's a good way
and
to put it.
let's say we definitely saved one of the best for last year. Adam Jaunich, Delano Athletics. He's with us today. And Adam, it's nice to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we've heard that you've listened to an episode or two.
I've listened to a couple. I like the Topo Chico. I like that you drink Topo Chico. So,
Are you a fan of our pre-episode food and drink selections?
I am. I love it.
Oh God,
I love it.
We enjoy it too. It's a fun little wrinkle we like to throw in there. But it's good to have you on here. You've had a couple weeks now to kind of recover. You're state champion. You're Class B state champion. Kind of an odd thing to say. Delano being Class C for so long, and being a North Star League team this year was kind of a lot of change, a lot of variance for you. Can you just talk about that? How it all went this year in the regular season?
Yeah, absolutely. Much like, I guess, kind of the trajectory of our program, it's been kind of a slow build throughout the year. Mm-hmm. And we didn't make the state tournament last year, and we went back to the drawing board, and we added a few pieces to start the season. And kind of the halfway point this season, kind of the midway point. I think it was a Young America game that we lost, that was rained out, which, after the game, I'm like, we're getting contributions from everyone out of the lineup throughout the entire season. And that YA game, we lost, I think, 6-5, and got rained out early, but we were getting contributions from everyone throughout the lineup. And I kind of walked away from that game. I'm like, I think this team is built to make a state tournament run this year. And
yeah, you mentioned the entire lineup. I think if you want to say like there's some foreshadowing there, you look into some of your final tournament games, your 1 hitter, your 2 hitter, your 7 hitter, your 8 hitter, your 9 hitter, these guys were mashing the ball. I mean, it up and down the lineup, it was not fun to be an opposing pitcher if you were facing the Athletics. And like you said, it felt like that was kind of building to a point. Would you say that your best baseball then, you definitely timed it out right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, looking through the stats, 7 out of the 9 everyday starters had a batting average over 300. We hit, we batted 320 as a team on the season, and we're getting contributions from hitters. We were playing well defensively throughout the season, and that just carried on into the district playoffs, all the way into the state tournament. And I think overall, depth-wise, was huge. There wasn't a game where I don't think we probably had 20-plus guys at every single game throughout the season. So there was a high level of commitment from a lot of the players, and guys showed up and contributed. Bench players contributed throughout the year, and that carried on into the state tournament as well.
Absolutely. We talk about your district because it was kind of a gauntlet. You go and you play teams. You're playing Watertown. You're playing Young America. You're playing, Plato. You're Carver's in there. I mean, you're looking at what, like, first off, you look at that group, and it's been mentioned before, but that could be considered like a championship weekend in just your district. I mean, do you think that prepared you better for the tournament?
I think the districts prepared us. I think our league games throughout the year were very competitive with all those teams as well. And then our schedule was pretty loaded with, state tournament caliber teams. I look at, we played a New Ulm late in the year. We played Jordan, who was also a state tournament team. We had some Class A matchups throughout the year as well against like Shakopee and Champlain Park. So, I mean, throughout the year, we had a competitive schedule that prepared us, for districts and prepared us for the state tournament too.
Absolutely. Now you go and you're in Class B. You still get your draftees. You got 2 guys. You guys what did you end up, second place in the district?
Third
place.
Third place, that's right. So, obviously being a very good district, drafting third, you're thinking, okay, you're going to have 2 really good pitchers being taken in front of you. And, were you looking best available there? You're looking for a starter? I mean, was this discussed between the higher brass in the dugout?
I mean,
assuming you're a part of that.
Yeah. Sometimes I like to think I'd like to be a part of it, but no. No, in all seriousness, I mean, it happened, we faced Jackson Hunter twice during the regular season, and he was available, and talked to Ryan and Cheeks and some of our other veterans are like, let's take him. He was available at 3, and it was a no-brainer for us. And he performed. He won us 3 state tournament games, and pitched very, very well. But we played defense behind him as well, and we had some timely hits in all 3 of those games that he pitched as well. And our offense exploded. I mean, we can talk about each game, but the biggest game of the tournament was I looked at for any tournament, even our history shows that we struggle those first couple games of the tournament, and we were able to get past Northfield, beat them 2-1. We actually faced a really pretty good pitcher. And we left some guys on base that game. We didn't have any timely hitting that first game, but, we were able to sneak out of there with a 2-1 win. And then, games 2, 3, 4, and 5, we started hitting the ball. Timely hits. We weren't leaving runners on base. So.
Yeah, right. Like you said, it was a kind of a grind, and it's that first game that and Ryan actually mentioned this in a previous interview, but the first game of the tournament is sometimes the really the hardest. It's the biggest hurdle to get over. And I look back at we had just interviewed from Pierz, Nate Janson, and out of their first round game, they got the Mora Blue Devils, who they beat 2-1.
Yep.
So I look at all these games. I mean, obviously pitching is going to be elite, and even from my own experience with the Litchfield Blues, our first rounder, we lose to Waterville 2-1. I mean, it's funny how those first round games are. I don't know if it's guys just playing a little tighter, but or it's just to that pitching level is going to be at a top tier. But some close games early on. You get by, you said Northfield 2-1. Then your next game was Saturday in Hutchinson. You played that first one in Brownton, and then kind of the rest of the way Hutchinson was your home. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And then our second game we played Hinckley, faced a pretty good right-hander from Hinckley, a young college kid. I think his last name Brennan.
Okay.
Dennis Brennan's, I believe, grandson.
Grandkin, Isaiah.
Some state board connections there.
Yeah, and he threw pretty well, but just kind of looking through the stat line from that game, we got contributions all over the lineup that game. Middle of the orders hitting the ball. Leadoff hitter Mason Henry had a really good tournament, and he got us started early in that game. And we just got contributions from all over the lineup, and we didn't commit any errors that game either. Yeah,
I mean, it was clean throughout most of the tournament. I went to a handful of the games, and especially the championship. It was good, clean baseball, and I think the defensive side can get overlooked every once in a while. I mean, you don't see it in the stat book. I think
one of the things about Jackson Hunter, he pounds the strike zone, but his strikeout numbers aren't like in the teens. He'll throw you 9 innings and he'll get you 6, 7, maybe 8 strikeouts. So you are still having to get almost 20 outs via the defense too. Right. So, but his competitive nature on the mound really
he's just so efficient.
Right.
Yeah, it was really fun to watch. You had him for the first 3 games. We said it was a 7-2 game. You end up beating Hinckley, getting out of Hutchinson on that Saturday. You go into the final weekend, and there's always a question. What is the pitching situation going to look like? Well, I don't think there was any thought. You're going to throw out your guy that's got you to that point. I mean, you got your draftee, and in Hutchinson on August 30th, you faced the home team. And can you just kind of talk about what that environment was like on that? I mean, it's an 11 a.m. game, but to face the Hutchinson Huskies on their home field.
Yeah, it was really reminiscent of 2023 when we hosted. I think we had 11 a.m. game against Bluffton. That final, was it 11 a.m. Ryan?
Well, it was the first. Well, there's 2 semis there's 2 quarters and a semi, so it might have been more of a noon, 1 o'clock, but it was the first game of the day.
Yeah, so it was a pretty electric atmosphere in Hutchinson. They brought a good crowd, and Delano fans showed up all tournament long, and they showed up all season long for that matter. And things started out a little slow. First inning, we didn't score any runs, but we really broke out in the 3rd inning. And again, we got contributions from all over the lineup. We had, Trevor Jaunich had a home run, Drew Dorsey had a big home run, and catcher Michael Ream had a home run in that game. And we just came out we had 14 hits in that game. And again, our defense came up big, made some pretty key plays there, and ended up 10 running them. And Jackson threw really well that game too. He actually had 7 strikeouts in that game, and but again, contributions all over the lineup, 1 through 9.
Right, and if anyone doesn't know, like Hutchinson as a roster, I mean they're known as a hitting team, and I think they walked out of there with 1 hit.
Yes. Was it Schumann, the catcher? I think he chopped an infield single, and that was the one.
That was the one.
If I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right.
So just firing on all cylinders as you get into this final weekend. I'm sure the boys are feeling pretty good, but then again, you know, as you go on, the cream tends to rise to the top, and you come across a pretty, I guess, an opponent that you knew a lot of and that you played quite a bit. And to be honest, you didn't have the best results, against during the season in Young America. Can you talk about some of the early matchups with them in the year and how that all came to be?
Yeah, our first matchup, we hosted them in Delano, and it was kind of a cloudy, rainy game. A little bit early. What was that? Early June.
Yep.
And they came out swinging. They took the lead early, and I think that game was like 11-6, but they were in control of that game pretty much for the entirety. And then, as I mentioned, there was a game later in the season in July where we lost to them. What was it, 6-4, 6-5? But it was a rain-shortened game. We had runners on base. We had an opportunity to take the lead in the 5th inning or 6th inning, I think it was, and the rain washed the game out. We ended up losing that game.
If I remember right, that had a big role into like just seeding going into the district too.
Yeah, that had a role for seeding in the district. We ended up getting 3 seed.
Yeah.
In regions.
Districts.
And districts. Sorry.
You're good. You're good.
We're still getting used to it too.
So, like you said, a couple games in the regular season, and the Cardinals were looking pretty solid.
Yeah, and then we ran into them state qualifier game. That was in districts, and we ended up losing them 4-3. And this was our first time that we started our veteran pitcher, Jake Nelson, who ended up, and we'll talk about that here leading up into the state tournament game, but Jake Nelson threw that district game against Young America, and he threw a hell of a game. He threw 7 innings. He had 12 strikeouts. He had us in position to win the game. They ended up scoring a couple runs late. We ended up scoring, 2 runs in the 9th inning. We had the tying run and winning run on base in the 9th. Couldn't scratch any across there. We scored 2, but we ended up losing that game 4-3. But that was the Jake Nelson playoff coming out party, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, you knew you had him in your back pocket. I think Jake, maybe more in the regular season, he's known as maybe a late inning guy. Would you say he's kind of a bullpen arm?
Yeah, he's a bullpen arm for us. He's been with us for 4 or 5 years now, and primarily we've used him out of the bullpen. He's thrown usually the late innings, 7, 8, 9, save situations, but we've never really used him as a starter. Sporadically we have, but we know that he's got good stuff. And we knew that throwing him in the YA game in the state tournament, that he was going to put us in position to win the game. Just how he performed against Young America in districts, we knew that we were going to get another good game out of Nelson. So.
Right. So you got the 1 p.m. game in Hutchinson on Sunday, August 31st, and you got Jake Nelson on the mound, and Young America is in the home dugout, and you're in that away dugout over there. And I mean, you guys, looking back in the history of the Athletics, we've talked and touched on this before, but I think the A's have maybe not had as much luck in Hutchinson as they would have liked leading up to that point. Is that safe to say?
That's safe to say.
There's some tough years out there. I know Ryan he'll wince every time he mentions 2019. I think that's a tough year to talk about, but you get into that spot. How did the game ultimately play out against the Cardinals?
Yeah, we came out hitting early. We scored a run in the first. Again, leadoff hitter Mason Henry got on. He ended up scoring right away. And then we scored another run in the second inning. So we started out with a 3-0 lead all the way to the fifth inning, and then Young America finally put a couple runs on the board in the fifth. Mm-hmm. And then Jake Nelson really settled in after that. I know we talked about, we had guys warming up in the 6th, 7th, and 8th inning.
Yep.
And Jake Nelson wanted the ball, and he ended up throwing all 9.
Jeez.
And those are the only 2 runs that he gave up that game. I think he had 6 strikeouts and 6 hits, but the late innings was fun to watch him pitch, because he was throwing a slurve or 65 mile per hour pitch, and then he'd zip one in there 85, 86.
We're like, hey, you good for the 9th, and he's just like, yeah, that sounds good. And I go, okay, here's who you got up. Oh, sweet, I haven't really thrown those guys many curveballs. I think I'll just throw them a bunch of curveballs in the 9th. Like, dude, we have 3 outs to the state championship, and let's
the snake.
That's him.
He's unfazed.
Oh my god.
Knowing Jake too, and just seeing him pitch over the years, he rarely walks a guy. Did he walk anyone in this game, or I would assume he kept that number pretty low too.
He had 1 walk, but he had 2 balks.
2 balks in the first inning.
In the first inning.
I was a spectator for this game. I was there, and I saw the balk, and then I saw the second balk, and I think even before the official, the umpire behind, that was behind the on the bases, before he even had his hands fully in the air, I think Hayes was already walking out to the mound. So it was one of those, I already know it's going to be settle your ass down. Like, what are you doing out here?
Yeah, and it was all positive. I'm like, just look at me. Don't look anywhere else. Don't. Just look at me. Reset. Refocus. Breathe. And I go, I'm going to stand here until the umpire breaks it up.
Yep.
And then I'm going to give him a piece of my mind for you. And I proceeded to do that. And, so then it did kind of just calm him down a little bit. Just like you're just getting into you're playing mind games, Jake. Just pitch. Mm-hmm. So he's trying to outthink and
right.
Don't think, Jake.
Fun game to watch. Fun game to watch for sure. Your young bats continued to show up, and I will say this. I remember, Ryan, you said if we're going to have any success in the final weekend, our 2, 3, 4 hitters have to really be big for us. Well, during that game, your best hitters were bookending your lineup, and I think anytime you go after a game, after a win, and Toby Hanson's a guy that he got on base once with a walk, and that's all. That's what his contribution was that game, as a DH, kind of a one-trick pony.
He is a one-trick pony.
Yeah, but to have the young guys kind of bookend that lineup and to just mash and get on base and all the speed that they have, that was fun to watch.
The change in that game was Brady Lash hitting 7, 2 outs, he gets a hit. Michael Reams hitting 8, he gets a hit. Cade Brewitt hitting 9, hits a double down the left field line to score 2 with 2 outs from getting that from your 7, 8, 9 guys with 2 outs. That
game changing.
That was a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely, it was huge. So you get by YA.
Let me back up though on something.
Yep, back it up.
2, 3, 4 hitters, and I remember prior to the state tournament, Ryan and I and some of the veterans had talked, and we looked at what Maple Lake did in 2023. What they did offensively, like their 2, 3, 4 hitters, and that's what we were looking to get out of our 2, 3, 4 hitters.
You're talking Malachek and Clapp, and they had just
Donnie
Mavenkamp,
I mean,
yeah.
those guys were having career type like peaks
Weekends,
on that weekend. I mean, it was elite. So, yeah, that if you're gonna model yourself after any sort of setup,
and with Jack, Toby, and Trevor, you're 2, 3, 4. That's what you expect out of them. Those are guys that can be like Donnie, like Ben Clapp, like Hunter Malachek. They can hit like we've seen them do it.
100%. So you get through. You're now facing a Nisswa Lightning team. It was either going to be the New Ulm Brewers or the Nisswa Lightning, and Nisswa comes away with a win. And you go home that Sunday night. I mean, was there any scouting to do? I mean, Nisswa is a team that's played a ton of games. You guys have played Nisswa pretty recently, 2023.
2022.
Yep, in Fairball. Or
It was in Dundas.
It was in Dundas. Okay.
Dundas.
So you knew and they kind of have an older veteran laced group. You knew some of their guys. I mean, what were you expecting going into that game?
I mean, I had the state championship graphic already created.
He did.
You have to.
You got to be
like,
prepared.
and if
He
you
did.
wouldn't have won, you would have sent it away, and no one would have ever.
No, I
seen it.
had a thank you fans one
Okay,
created.
he had
too.
both. I was just like, you're just playing with fire.
I gotta, you know what? I have to defend Adam here because as a guy who does graphics for a baseball team, you want to have both results
You have to.
ready because you don't want to be the team. We talked about this a long time ago. The hashtag tweet your losses, all of that
Yep.
stuff. You have to have something ready to go out, good or bad. You got to let the people know, and you don't want it to be like 4 days later. Oh yeah, we won, or we didn't win.
It was either a black and white photo of Ryan Hayes tipping his cap to like sadly to the fans, or it was like the celebratory, collage that you guys put together. So it was fun to see. But yeah, Nisswa.
No, but yeah, in all seriousness, no. The Nisswa game, we knew, playing those guys in 2022, what they were capable of. Those guys can mash. They're a very good hitting team, and they showed that early on. In that game, we scored a run in the first inning. They scored a run in the first inning. They had a couple hits again in the second inning, and they were threatening to score more runs in the second. But we got out of the jam, and we were trailing 2-1, and early on in that game in the fifth inning, we broke out, scored 5 runs. That was keyed by a 3-run homer by Jack Paulson.
Huge. Yeah.
2 strikes. Yep.
It was a huge at bat. I mean, Jordan and I, we were at the game, and we got talked into doing the fifth inning field maintenance.
Yeah.
So we're sitting. The only time our eyes weren't on the batter, we were behind the visiting dugout. Actually, the home dugout, right?
Yeah,
We were the
well,
home team,
technically.
yeah.
the
First
home,
base.
yeah.
So Jordan and I are getting our, rakes and bases together, and all of a sudden we see the left fielder just turn his head and watch a ball fly, and
Oh yeah.
boy, that turned everything right there. It felt like the wind was completely out of the sails for Nisswa at that point.
Scoring 5 there for you guys, and then we ran out there with our bases and rakes. Trevor's playing shortstop, and I'm putting a new second base in, and I'm like, Trevor, how's it going? And he elite.
This is elite journalism, by the way. To get an interview on the field
on the scene, yeah.
2 minutes after the
I'm
fact.
like, Trevor, how's it going? And he takes just like a deep breath, like a sigh of relief almost. He's like, well, a little better now. After just putting up 5.
Oh, it was fun. And we did take a
but-
selfie
but-
on the field, so that was fun too.
But before that, as I mentioned, we were trailing early 2-1 to Nisswa. Nick Hayes started that game, but Jeff Fashing, our lefty relief pitcher, came in the third inning. He pitched 3 innings. He really kind of calmed the nerves, or just settled things down a little bit from a pitching standpoint, and he really kept the momentum from swinging their way, and he threw the 5th inning.
Yeah, he got us through 5, so he got the win.
Yep.
Yeah, Jeff Sasson got the win. And he was done after that. Didn't he motioned to you, Ryan, didn't he?
We had a Chet Stedman, Sal, whatever his name is, Rookie of the Year, just moment, but it was like telepathic. And he just kind of looked at me, and I looked at him, and it was kind of just like, give me, because we got a double play, I think it was, to 2 outs, and I just kind of look at him. He looks at me, and I'm just like, give me one more, and he's just like, okay. And then he gets the last out, and I don't even think the umpire signaled out, and he just looks at me with the throat cut, like, and I go, mile ahead of you. We're good. We're good. So
Gets you through 5 then, and then who
Yeah,
came in beyond
we scored 5 in the 5th, so we had a 6-2 lead, and then our young guy, 20-year-old left-hander from Delano, Cade Brewitt, finished the game. I don't know from a stat perspective, does he get a save for that?
Yeah, 4-inning save.
yeah,
4-inning
he
save.
did. Yes. So Cade actually got the save against Watertown to put us in the state tournament, and then he got a save in the state championship.
That's awesome.
He came out, and I think he threw 6 balls right away, and I just went out and I'm like, hey, dude.
Throw a strike.
I just said, you're out here because everybody believes in you, so just
Right.
believe in Cade. And then he was like, oh, okay.
Yep, absolutely. So
And they had some lefties. They had some lefties in their lineup too.
Yeah.
Deshane's the final out of the game was what is it? Nate Deshane flew out to
Paulson.
Jack
third.
Paulson at third to end the game. So they had some heavy hitting lefties in their lineup, and Cade was great.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. We were there. We got to see it in person. It was a great time. We got to celebrate a little bit. We got a taste of the celebration, I would say.
Yeah, we were pretending to be A's.
We were pretending to be A's. We walk around and we were holding the trophy and taking pictures and shaking hands, and it was a really fun time. Kissing babies. Yep, letting the people know that we're aligned with the athletics, and that whole tournament. We've heard there might be some like superstitions going around. Did you have anything that you kind of followed or Hayes you knew of that you guys were doing leading up to some of these games?
I wear different socks every game, so I'm not really superstitious. I always get made fun of socks I wear sometimes. But
Well, I was parking in the same spot, but you would ride to the games with Cheeks, and then you would ride home back to Delano with me.
Yeah,
and
that's one of them.
And that's what won you the state championship. Can you believe that?
I wore the same socks. I washed them, but I wore the same socks.
No, it was some fun to track. Did you guys? I mean, you leave probably Hutchinson. There was some rain that came through. It probably got kind of shuffled everybody home, and you get to this celebration where there was an announcement I think in Hutchinson right after the game, and they said, "I want everybody to know if you're wearing athletics gear, you get free beer at the Legion in Delano." And I was like, what? They're just going to give you free beer? Can you confirm, Ryan, that is what happened?
Yeah. I mean, there was beer and pizza. And we had.
So you had a good time at the Legion then?
Free. I think it was. No, I take it back. It was free everything.
Oh, man.
Pizza and any type of drink you wanted.
Man.
It wasn't just beer. Adam had a couple fridge cigarettes.
Even a fridge cig.
I'm saying like you're the heroes of the town at that point. Of course, you deserve some love, and I mean a little pizza party. Of course.
Yeah. What was Maple Lake's tally in 2023?
It was like $2-3 grand.
Yeah, I think we got told it was flirting with about $2,400.
Yeah. Holy smokes.
That's a good time.
Yeah, that is a good time.
So, but yes.
No,
off-air stories.
Off-air stories, yeah, for sure. But yeah, you've had some time to reflect back. I mean, now you're going to next season. You're more, I guess you could say you're more prepared for what you're going to deal with next year with the CRVL and in the new district. And is there any news on the front as far as the roster goes? I mean, I will say this. Max Otto, who's not with you, unfortunately, I'm sure he's kind of bumming that he wasn't able to go on that run with you guys. But there might have been a rumor that he might be swinging back. I'm not going to say whether you need to confirm that or not, but is there any sort of roster changes or anything that you guys see?
Is anyone going
any
out
retirements?
on top?
I mean, that's another thing. Like you get a guy that's if a guy's in the mid 30s, mid to upper 30s, and he wins a state title, who's to say he's not gonna ride away in the sunset? Do you have any info for us, Adam?
Well, I mean, I looking at our lineup or in the roster next year, I think it's going to be pretty much intact. But we've got we got 3 high school guys that will be graduating next year as well. A couple of them have logged some innings in years past with us, but they will be contributing in one way or another next year. So I can share that.
Of course, yeah. Your young guys too, they're going to be getting kind of thick into college ball too? I mean, you don't foresee that being an issue at all?
No, I don't. I had some time to really kind of reflect on things, and just I talked about just from an organizational standpoint, this has been a slow burn. There was a time from 2004 through 2014 where we didn't make a state tournament.
Some of the lean years.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that. Like it looks great now, but we were bad, weren't we? We were bad for a while.
There was a time between 2004 through 2011, 2012 where we were lucky to win 9-10 games. And those are some pretty lean years, and then finally 2014 we broke through again, and there's a couple years here and there where we didn't make the state tournament, but from 2014 through 2025 we've averaged between 22 and 25 wins a season. So and we knocked on the door in 2022, and that was our furthest that we've been since 1988, that season where we finished 3rd, and then knocked on the door in 2022, made a final weekend in 2023 when we were hosting, and made it to the quarterfinals, and then obviously didn't make the state tournament in 2024, and then 2025 we won a state championship, which is
huge. Would you say that, like, I'm not going to say like teams have like a reputation or anything, but do you feel like there's maybe like a monkey taken off the back? Because like you hear about all these times you'd make the tournament and somehow you'd get upset or something like that, and that was almost like you were almost carrying that cross.
I don't think it was a monkey off our back. I just think that we slowly developed a program here in the last 10 years, but there was years where we had a lot of injuries going into the state tournament. There was what year was that, Jordan? Ryan, you can...
Yeah, 2021 when we drafted Jordan, because we lost Hunter in the regional championship game. I mean, he was our 4-hitter. On a...
Trevor was out.
Oh, and then Trevor too. Well. I mean, we literally lost our 2-hitter and 4-hitter the week before our first state tournament game. And, we ended up losing to Spring Hill. So... Yeah, I mean, we've been really this year. The buzzword was depth, and build the depth, and that's why we played so many games and some big time opponents, and really mixed around the lineup a lot to make sure the guys were ready to go, because we lost guard Swenson. He played first state tournament game, and then his coach kind of said, his college coach was like, no, you're not going to go back home to Minnesota and play beer ball, whatever, and get hurt. I was just like, all right. So then you got Dorsey and Cade that fill the corner outfield spots then in his absence, and we just really didn't skip a beat. So, but yeah, there was some interesting first couple of years. I didn't know, and we had conversations too up in when we tore up the town in Detroit Lakes, kind of like. What direction is this season going to go in? And you can say whatever you need to say here to finish up, Adam, but I have to bring up one thing to you.
One thing.
Because we actually did have this conversation in Detroit Lakes. Solved a lot of world problems. Your older brother, Kevin, we had a little discussion in Detroit Lakes at about 3 a.m. And if he was the best, and if he's not the best, he's definitely one of the best high school athletes Delano has ever had and produced. Point guard, shortstop, quarterback, conference title, state tournament. Played baseball and basketball at St. Olaf, which is extremely hard to do because they pretty much overlap. Yeah. And he wasn't like pinch hitter late in the game or come off the bench kind of guy. Like, he was in the trenches. And he's definitely, very decorated, very celebrated. But he doesn't have a state championship for town team.
He's not wearing a ring.
So I just kind of want to know your vibe on that too. What's Kevin had to say?
He's pretty happy.
Okay.
We got to get those rings first. Right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you can tell his son or his daughter's just like, hey, you know what? You ever want to see the ring? Just call up Uncle Adam and I'll bring it on over. You can show your buddies.
That's right.
So,
oh man, no, that's great.
But no, I mean it's been just a fun year, and looking forward to 2025 or 2026 now. I mean it's going to be an exciting year of baseball, and town ball's in a good place right now, and. We can build off it as an organization next year, and I'm expecting some pretty good crowds next year at the Muni. So
the Muni will be bumping, that's for sure. Are you going to have a ceremony? I know that Hayes, you're big on the ceremonies.
Gimmicks, we call them gimmicks.
It's a gimmick night.
We might bring back Christmas in July.
Oh my God. I love it, but man, is that a lot of work. I feel you. Well, good stuff, right, Adam. Do you have anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up here?
No, I appreciate what you guys have done for town ball this season, and keep up the great work. I hope you guys have some podcasts over the course of the winter. I don't know if you guys can you share that at all?
Well, we're all about hashtag content, so we're always looking to push something out there.
There's gonna be some stuff.
It's tough. Even this little break we had after the state tournament, it felt a little odd and a little rusty today, but we'll get this out there. We're excited to put it out there, and it's a long winter, and I'm sure there will be things to talk about. We'll see. I think that's kind of what we're gonna leave it at, but we know that there's a couple frequent listeners out there, and we want to make sure that they don't forget about us. So we'll get out some stuff, but we appreciate you pushing. I know that you've maybe shared a few of our podcasts during the year too, so we appreciate that. And Jordan said too, as like a social media guy, we have to give you props too, because Delano had a great year on the social media side too. Oh, yeah. So really good job, Adam. That was fun to follow, fun to watch. It was a great year overall. And you guys have anything else you want to throw at?
Congrats again, man.
Thanks a lot, Jordan.
All right, I'll call you on the way home.
We'll talk to you later, Adam. Bye. And that was our interview with Adam Jaunich. That will wrap up our interview portion of our pod today. We had 3 really good representatives from Miesville, Pierz, and Delano with us. So that was cool, just to kind of see their kind of how they saw the games. I mean, it's kind of cool to at each level too, to kind of understand what they were seeing and how they were feeling during each step of the way, and to get a really clear and concise view of that. So we've made it through. We've got our 3 interviews. I want to say this right now. If you're still listening, props to you.
Thanks.
You're a ride or die. We kind of want to do something for our hardcore listeners, the ones that stick with us through the whole program. You're not nitpicking, you're not cherry picking certain portions of it. We want to do something where through our Twitter, if you respond to our Twitter posting or X posting of this episode, if you give us your favorite, I'd say, memory of this tournament, or, what was something that you enjoyed, or, anything really tournament related. If you can respond to our Twitter/X post with this episode here, give us any sort of feedback on the tournament, any sort of memory. We're going to enter your name into a little baseball giveaway. We're going to do a package where the winner will take home some fun prizes. We haven't locked down exactly what we're going to give away, but it will be really worth it. We're just going to say that.
It's going to be a car.
Yeah, it's going to, well, I don't know if we can we say that and not be held liable?
It's not going to be a car. I will tell you that.
Yeah, no. So we're still putting that together. We promise you
it's going to be a naked bat grip, but it's going to be a used one off of my fungo that I used during the season.
State championship.
Used. Memorabilia.
Yeah, no,
it's going to be something fun.
Good. Something good. We'll make it worth your while. It won't just be garbage, from our dugouts. No, it'll be something legit. And all you got to do is just reply to our tweet and let us know something fun from the tournament that you experienced or you were a part of. So do that right away. Hop on there. With that, we're then moving on. We are kind of just going to talk about wrapping up our season 1, you want to call this, or season of our pod. And, what is there really to say? I mean, we've had such a fun year, and it's been really cool to really dive into everything. I know you guys will probably have something to say on this too, but to kind of hear feedback from people throughout the year and say, they've really enjoyed kind of just utilizing our podcast. I think first and foremost, we don't try to take ourselves too seriously, but I think we tried to inform people the best we could. And in a year of a lot of uncertainty and movement, I think that was a big positive of why, people enjoyed listening. It was just, if you were going to put us on for an hour, hopefully you could learn something and we could at least make you laugh once or twice. That's another goal of ours. But I really enjoyed the year. I think we're going to continue to have things to talk about going into the future. There will always be, content to talk about, and I'm excited for that. But looking back on the year, I think it was better than I expected it would go.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? I mean,
I think
who even knew what was our expectations?
I don't know that we had any.
We didn't.
I mean, we, like you said, we can be goofy. We're dorks. That's fine. But we, had a goal in mind or a plan that, town ball's cool and we love it because we are dorks about it. And maybe there's other people out there who are as well. So we'll give you a chance to, feel like you're in a group with us, like you can relate, because I know that there's a lot of people out there that probably feel the same way about town ball that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think it was just really an excuse to hang out.
Yeah, more
That's
than
a good
anything.
point.
We spent a lot of time with each other a few years ago, and it was just like, hey, let's just keep the fun times rolling. This has basically been an extension of our text thread. This is all it is.
Yep.
In-person text thread, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's it's cool. We made it ours, and we'll see if we get renewed for season 2.
Yeah, we gotta
Talk to the bosses.
Yeah, talk to the bosses.
No, I went on a, Kip Kovar had a little bit of a Twitter space, X space, or whatever you want to call it. But he, at the end of the year, was starting to kind of put people together to just talk about the state tournament and this and that. Well, he brought me on, nice enough to bring me on to that. And he had said that, he just enjoys how it doesn't feel like we're not
Stuffy.
so stale, that's the thing. Like, we don't want it to feel that way. We don't want it to be like a post-game interview with like the paper where you got to tell them everything they want to hear. This is a behind the dugout with a couple beers, and you want to talk about everything under the sun. And that's kind of what our goal was. And I think we succeeded with that. Of course, we're we're pretty nice guys. So maybe we let some of the state board members off a little easy, but
you just wait for season
just wait
2.
for it's good, the revenge tour.
The cliffhanger.
After they
Season 1 cliffhanger.
they hand Hayes a state championship trophy, and all he wants to do is just rip him. No, he wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that. No, of course
Now
not.
we're gonna end on a positive note.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It was a great year. We're excited to have. I mean, an off season. Everybody enjoys an off season, but we're gonna keep our eyes and ears out for information. I don't know if you could say there is probably an off season. The state board, they're probably working on things. They've got a lot to do between now and next spring, and we followed the transitions of a lot of teams from classes to new classes, and that's going to happen again this year. So it's a never-ending process, and we'll be there for you in probably the spring. I don't know. It's tough to really commit to when we're going to land back with the season 2 for 2026. But
I'll pull the curtain back a little bit for the people listening. We've got in this room to record, and we even said okay, well, this is a season finale. What do we do next? I don't know. So that's where we're at. We can't tell you when we're dropping the next one because we don't know yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this because Jordan kind of hinted at it. He's like, oh, maybe we'll do a little best of or something. If you really miss us and you want to come back, we'll maybe throw a little best of. But to be honest, I don't know if that's what people want to hear or not.
Do we have enough best of material?
Exactly. No, we might go back and look. It'd be fun to look back at our guesses as to who was going to make the tournament, who was going to win the state tournament. It'd be fun to kind of look back at those. But if you're bored, you can always go back to our old episodes. But yeah, anything else you guys want to say before we sign off for 2025?
No, on to 2026.
On to 2026 for Ryan Hayes of the Delano Athletics and Jordan Flick of the Dassel Cokato Saints. I am John Anderson with the Litchfield Blues. Have a great off season. Bye-bye.